All right, Unit 2 deals with linear equations. The first section is to give you an introduction of that. Lesson 2.1, functions and their graphs. So the very first part of this, this will be a review probably all the way back to Algebra 1. But just as a reminder, we need to identify the following parts. Now, before we start, an ordered pair, remember, consists of an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. And when you're graphing those, the first number tells you to the x-coordinate tells you to go right or left. Remember, if it's right, it's going to be a positive. If it's left, that means the number is a negative. The x-coordinate, the y-coordinate tells you the one to go up or down. Okay, if it's up, it's positive. If it's a negative, it goes down. The x-axis is the axis that goes right and left. And the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. The origin is the point in the center. And its ordered pair is 0, 0. It's also known as the starting point. So when you graph an ordered pair, that's exactly where you're going to start. Okay. Quadrant 1 consists of all of the ordered pairs in the upper right corner. The x-coordinate is going to be positive, and both of them are going to be positive. Quadrant 2, then they go counterclockwise. So quadrant 2, which is going to consist of the numbers that are negative and positive. Quadrant 3, these are going to consist of the numbers that are both negative. X-coordinate is negative and the y-coordinate is negative. And the last one is quadrant 4, which consists of all of the numbers that are positive x and negative y. Okay, some vocabulary terms that you need to be familiar with. First of all, a relation is a pairing of input and output values. So this would be an example of all of your x values and your y values would be a relation. Okay. The domain are all of the input values, or in this case, it's going to be all of your x values. Okay. The range is all of your output values, or in this case, it's going to be all of your y values. And a function, and this is where the important part comes in, the function is a match when you match one domain with exactly one range. Now, I will tell you that it can go to the same range, but each domain item can only have one. And I'll give you an example of that. So let's take a look at the next one. First of all, just as a refresher, remember each output can only go to one domain. Okay? So in order for it to be a function, we need to match one domain with one range. So if you look at the domain here, this domain, this -3, is going to one item in the range. So that one is sufficient. If you look at the 1 here, the problem is this 1's going to a -2, and it matches up with a 1. So in this case, because we have this one is going to 2 places, this one is not a function. Okay, because it can only go one domain with one range.